and welcome to the 10th episode of Zooming In with Gen Z. I'm your host, Haley Taylor Schlitz. Thanks for being here. Before we get started, I would like to remind you all to please like, share, comment, follow, and subscribe. Not only does this help you stay up on our fantastic conversations, but it allows the algorithm to do its thing so others can tune in too. If you're Gen Z, stop scrolling. You need to hear this news. Here is how Gen Z is changing the way we communicate. We have discussed so often how Gen Z is changing and impacting our world in so many industries. And here we have another from Forbes. Hear this quote. Businesses that fail to address Gen Z will not only miss out on a huge section of the market, but might also find themselves out of business. Gen Z has enormous influence over the market, as well as other generations who often consider them experts in a world filled with technology. What's more, as Zoomers grow up, they will constitute an even bigger fraction of the market, with their children following suit in the values they spread. You hear that, businesses? Heed to our wishes. Also, I love Zoomers. Zooming in with Zoomers. That should be the new title of the show. TikToker Benny Drama sparks controversy with viral White House intern video. Say that 10 times fast. You ready for more TikTok controversy? Hear this quote from Dextero. TikToker and comedian Benito Skinner, aka Benny Drama 7, has started trending after people thought a character of his was a real White House intern. The White House is currently recruiting influencers in an effort to encourage people to take up vaccinations. Skinner, who has nearly 900,000 followers on TikTok, regularly posts videos on his Instagram and TikTok impersonating celebrities such as Kim Kardashian and Lana Del Rey. He has also recently started a series of videos where he pretends to be a Gen Z intern and plays into various stereotypes about the generation. This clearly caught the attention of the White House, with Skinner collaborating with the government building. In the video, Skinner goes through a day in the life as a White House intern, going to different rooms in the building. At several points, President Biden's spokesperson, Jen Psaki, makes an appearance posing as Skinner's intern's boss. It doesn't seem like Skinner's character, Cooper, is very good at their job or works very hard. Have you guys seen these videos? Let's take a look at one if you haven't.
Democracy's calling. See you, Daddy. Bye.
Hi, my name is Cooper, and this is a day in my life as a White House intern.
We did a joke. Hey, everyone. Vogue.
Usually I start off with a big coffee. Sorry, they're like really strict in here.
Hey, Jenny. I booked you a nail appointment, love.
Yeah, I didn't tell you to do that.
It's called Initiative. Hi, White House. This is Cooper. I don't think so. Oh, doesn't matter.
This is actually the entrance to the West Wing. This is so fun and it's really prestigious.
Hey, POTUS. Is Olivia Rodrigo still here?
No. We've come a long way in our fight against this virus. We've vaccinated 160 million Americans. Are you getting this all down?
Don't worry, Queen. It's all right here.
Cooper.
Sorry, Miss Jen. And Jen, don't forget to have fun. Spirit fingers, Mama.
We need to get shots in the arms of every single American.
I'm heading to a haircut.
Comment if you want me to make more of these.
Oh my gosh, what do you guys think? That definitely plays into the stereotypes of our generation. Okay, now this next one is also from TikTok. This frozen honey TikTok trend isn't exactly good for you. Have you seen this trend? I definitely have. Let's hear what Refinery29 has to say about it. Thanks to TikTok, we've seen a variety of food trends come and go over the last year. Homemade pancake cereal and that feta pasta. As we graduated from the basics into the more involved TikTok recipes, like grilling sunflower heads, we've also been met with some, well, unfortunate viral trends too. The latest is honey. Yeah, honey. And this one honey trend apparently comes with some serious health-related side effects. According to several viral TikTok videos, the honey trend goes like this. First, you freeze excessive amounts of honey in containers like water bottles. Then you squeeze the honey out of the water bottle. Then you bite into it. Dave Ramirez, a TikToker boasting 5.5 million followers, is credited as the frozen honey king by fans since originating the trend early in July. In his original video, Ramirez chomps into a largely solidified blob of honey that had been freezing in a water bottle and calls the concoction pretty refreshing. Let's take a look at what this refreshing concoction looks like.
Guys, it literally worked. I have a good feeling about this one. No way.
No, no, no. It all sounds so simple, right? Well, apparently some side effects are less than desirable. As is the case with doing anything in excess, it turns out that ingesting massive amounts of honey isn't good for the body. Who would have known? The honey trend has been a source of concern for health professionals because of the pure amount of sugar being eaten in one sitting. Eating a little bit of corn syrup, such as a serving, which is a tablespoon, is not detrimental. Amy Shapiro, a dietitian and nutritionist based in New York City, told Insider when she was asked about the cons of the viral trend. However, the amount that is being squeezed out of the bottle is way more than 1 tablespoon. When you add color and Kool-Aid to it, children will likely eat more than 1 serving, especially if they're making multiple colors. Shapiro also noted that continuously eating honey and corn syrup can put the body at risk for a dangerous amount of weight gain and an increased risk of diabetes and heart disease. Yikes. I didn't plan on trying that trend anyway because eating pure honey sounded gross, but now I'm really not trying it. Have you guys tried it? If you have, please don't do it again. Now we all know what time it is. Interview time! Today we have a guest who is the epitome of success. He graduated high school at 13, finished college at 15, and now is about to start his MBA as he turns 16 this fall. Have you ever quite heard a story like this one? He owns his own company that directly ties to his passions, which led him to getting his MBA. Can we all give a great round of applause to Ian Taylor Schlitz?
Hello.
He's here with us in real life, guys. Hey, Ian.
Hi.
We're so happy you could join us, and I am so glad that you could join me in person. It's crazy to actually see another person on this show. Even my backstage support is virtual. So I just listed off a bunch of accomplishments. So let's start with the first accomplishment on the very long list of accomplishments. Graduated high school at 13? How? Why?
So I would say how I graduated high school at 13, it would have to be mainly 1 through homeschool and 2 through hard work. Because homeschool allowed me to work at my own pace, which public school wouldn't really allow me to do. And not to mention another main thing I said hard work is because, for example, there are many, vacations like summer vacation, winter break. And I realized that a lot of, schools, they'll have that time off. And back when I was in public school, I always think to myself, I always thought it was low-key unnecessary. Like, I didn't really think that we needed as long as the break as we did. So what was amazing about homeschool was when it hit summer break, I could keep working. I can keep going ahead if I wanted to. And I feel like that allowed me to go so far so fast because while everybody else was resting, I was still going. So I feel like that's mainly how I did it. Wow. Now, for why I did it, honestly, it was because I wanted to get done with my education as soon as possible. And I figured that the fastest way to do that was to, do homeschool work at my own pace. And my own pace was faster than usual. And I feel like that's how I mainly did it, for sure.
Wow. Are you guys hearing this? He wanted to work over summer. Like, I don't know. You don't hear that every day, guys. Okay, so what motivated you to take the path you did? What motivated you to work over the summer?
Well, like I said, firstly, it's because I felt like, firstly, I want to get done with, education. Like I said, I want to get done as soon as possible. And 2, it only felt natural. I didn't feel like I felt like it'd be unnecessary to stop. Because I know a lot of people will stop after, high school graduation. And at least in my mind at the time, it was the next step. Like first grade, second grade, third grade. For me, it was high school and college. Like it's just the next thing you do. Yeah. So it was obviously, of course, I was motivated because I wanted to get done, but it also felt like it was just what I was supposed to do. Okay. So I just did it because, that's just what I felt like doing.
At your own pace. Yeah, exactly. Okay, that makes sense. What motivated you as you went through college? Like, did you not get overwhelmed or burned out? I mean, you were 13 or 14. Like, what kept you going?
For me, I would say me being 13 or 14, which is true, you would believe that, this is a lot of stress. But for me, it felt natural because I felt like with the educational, the classes I was taking, it felt like I belonged there. I didn't feel like it was too much. So in terms of, burnouts and stuff, I didn't really have those because I feel like burnouts are usually caused obviously by overworking too hard, but also through stress.
Yeah.
And since I wasn't really necessarily stressed out, that wasn't that much of an issue for me.
Wow.
So I would say it wasn't that big of a problem for me. Motivation, of course, like I said earlier, was just getting done with education.
Yeah, so this really was at your own pace. You didn't feel like you were close to burning out.
No, not at all.
Wow, okay.
It was right at home.
Wow, yeah, that's his comfort zone. Okay, so how did it feel graduating at 15? Did you feel like, this was like an accomplishment, or like you said, this was like your first grade, second grade, third grade, high school, college? Was it just like an expectation or just normal for you?
For me, when I graduated, I wasn't, if you're talking about in terms of me being 15 and my perspective of being 15 as graduating, I thought it was really cool. I felt like I had a lot of bragging rights now because so many people already don't graduate college. So the fact that I did so at such a young age, one, it sets an example to show that it could be done. And two, it's just good to graduate college.
Yeah, exactly.
So of course I felt good, of course. But when I was graduating, it was so satisfying for me because that was a big thing for me to do on my list of education.
Yeah.
Like college was a big thing. Of course, high school is great and all the other grades are great, but college was the big thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that's how I was feeling. I was like, I have accomplished something that I've been setting to want to do for so long. It felt really good to get done with it.
Yeah, so long, your entire 15 years. Okay. So, let me see. I don't want to scroll too far. Okay, so you're 15 now, and you plan on starting your MBA this coming semester.
Yes.
Okay, so where are you going to get your MBA? Like, what school?
I'm going to be going to Tarleton State University.
Okay. So shout out to Tarleton. So have you already started class? Like, are there pre-classes you have to take? I know it starts this coming semester. Has the semester started already?
In terms of pre-classes, I did take 2 classes, one in accounting and one in economics.
Wow.
I will be starting the actual courses in Tarleton this fall, actually.
Okay.
So in about a week.
Wow, really?
So yeah, so currently I'm not, taking the classes yet, but I'm about to.
Okay, we definitely have to bring you back to talk about how your classes are going, and then also after you graduate and how that went.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that I have my backstage taking notes to bring this person back. Okay, but also pre-classes, finances, and economics?
It was accounting and economics.
Accounting and economics. Which one was harder?
I would say economics is harder because accounting was more, just calculations.
Okay. That makes sense. Okay. So, what made you want to get your MBA in the first place? Why was that the next step after college?
The reason why I wanted to get my MBA was because I actually have a business.
Really?
And since I run this business, I felt it is important for me to understand how business works.
Absolutely.
So me being the CEO of my business, I'm hoping to grow out. It only makes sense, at least in my mind. It only makes sense for me to actually understand how it works.
Absolutely. That makes sense. Another accomplishment, guys. He casually owns a business. Okay, so you have this business. What is it called?
It's called Calamity Gaming.
Calamity Gaming. Okay, so what motivated you to master business administration? Like, was it you were not interested in MBA before your company, or have you always been interested in masters in business? That's why you started the company. Like, I guess which came first, the idea for the company or the idea for an MBA?
The idea for a company, most definitely, because the MBA came after the company because, like I said earlier, it just feels important to be educated in the field.
Okay. So what does your company do? What is Calamity Gaming?
We host video game tournaments and esports aimed at younger audiences.
Okay.
So, we'll host gaming tournaments and events with games like Super Smash Brothers, Fortnite, Mario Kart, all the hit games.
Yeah. I love video games. Okay, I'm sure our viewers do too. So I'm sure we're all wondering now how we could get involved. I know with COVID, things are probably difficult to get people together to do a tournament. Are you doing virtual tournaments? I mean, I think we're all hyper listening now to how we can play these games.
So, about virtual tournaments, I have been wanting to do virtual tournaments for a while now. The only things I know a lot of people ask me like yourself, well, is there going to be virtual tournaments? Like, can we keep playing? And I would love to do that, but some a reoccurring, I would say, problem in doing that is sometimes the game that we're trying to host may not be well fit for that.
Okay.
Like, it's not well suited for unofficial tournaments. It's designed for the bigger tournaments. So that's probably the reason why there's there's a lackluster of online tournaments, not
Yeah.
because we're not trying to, just because it's hard with the games we're using. So
It's a transition period right
exactly.
now. Okay, got it. Okay, so speaking of like the future and maybe future, tournaments and stuff, are you getting your MBA so you can make Calamity like even better and expand on it, or are you planning on starting like a new business? And if you are, please drop all the details because we're definitely following you.
So I'm mainly hoping to use my MBA to grow up my business already, because I'm already passionate about what this business does.
Yeah.
So I would say I'm just getting my MBA to grow up my current business already.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, definitely. You already have this great idea. I might as well invest in it.
Yeah.
So do you think your MBA will be your last degree? And if so, what do you see yourself doing after, like, working on Calamity, like you said, but do you think that you will eventually start another company or maybe work for an already established company and be their business administrator? Like, do you know?
So the plan originally for me is to, of course, get my MBA. And once I get my MBA, I have, 3 options. 1, I can grow up Calamity. 2, I can already work for other companies with this MBA.
Absolutely.
So that's already another, great thing. And 3rd, which I'm still considering, so I can't give an exact answer, I may, after getting my MBA, if I'm still feeling like pursuing education, I may try to become a doctor like my mom.
Oh, like a medical doctor?
Specifically radiology.
Okay.
I always liked X-rays.
Okay, that's awesome. Are you guys hearing that? A business owner, an early graduate, and a doctor. Why not add doctor on top? Just throw it in there. Yeah. Okay, that is pretty awesome. Okay, so I'm sure our viewers are wondering, like, what I want to do this. Okay, so what advice can you give to our viewers who are wanting to switch up their educational path from like the public highway? Like, where should they start? Any advice on how to get through this like potentially drastic change in just environment and structure? Like, is there anything that they should definitely avoid or definitely do? Like, general advice.
Yeah. So in terms of changing up their educational path, I would say, in my personal experience, it was homeschool. But I understand not everybody has the resources to do homeschool. There's a lot of commitment.
Yeah, absolutely.
So a good alternative for, instead of doing homeschool, I would say doing honors courses, AP classes, because those always contribute to credit.
Absolutely.
So I feel like in terms of actual physical, what you're going to do for education, I would say more like one of those 3 specifically.
Absolutely.
But in terms of like advice, what I give to people who are trying to do this, I would say is 1, believe in yourself, because I feel like that's really important. Mindset matters. There are a lot of studies that show that mindset has a great effect on how your take on things.
Yes.
So I feel like in terms of actually wanting to do it, is make sure you're in the right state of mind.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
and consider all the options.
Absolutely. You guys hear that? Make sure you're considering all the options. And while considering them, know that you can do any of them. Definitely believe in yourself. Okay. And so for the other side of our audience, or maybe the same side, maybe everybody is wondering, who knows, who you'll touch as they watch as this video gets spread. But whoever's listening who may be interested in starting their own business, what advice do you have for them? Like, where should they start? How can they get it up and rolling? Like anything they should do or definitely avoid? Like a general advice.
So to start off, when you're starting a business, my biggest piece of advice is to make sure that you identify a problem or a need that you see as important. So for me, it was, e-gaming, but for younger audiences, because before that, there was nothing like it.
Okay.
So my biggest piece of advice would be to make sure you're passionate about this, and 2, make sure that, it's actually a need that, people actually need. Don't go around it. Don't just do your research. Just make sure that you are sure this is what you want to do. And in terms of getting up and rolling, which is also another concern, I would say, for one, at least what I did was I saved up, of course, because it does take money to start a business, especially if you're doing one like mine. So even services as well, like you're going to need, and you can get investments, but that's a bit, a bit more complicated and harder. And for me, who's younger, that wouldn't be as simple as it would, for other people. So I would say my main piece of advice for getting started is just saving up. And one thing great about taking this route is you can actually see if you're committed to this. Because saving takes time. So, and maybe you may have this big idea and it may be a one-night thing. You won't even know. You may be really motivated, but tomorrow is completely different. So I feel like by saving up, you're also ensuring yourself that this is something you actually want to do.
Absolutely.
So, I think it's important to You know that you want to do it.
Yeah, give yourself time to actually make sure that this is what you want to do. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that wraps up this interview. Guys, definitely follow Ian, like on Facebook. It's Ian Taylor Schlitz. I know that because I follow him. And Calamity Gaming too is on Instagram under Calamity Gaming. I also know that because I follow them. So definitely check that out and make sure you support them in their fantastic journey. And you're definitely going to want to be following because we will have Ian back probably several more times on the show. So definitely make sure you follow this show and share and make sure that other people can listen to Ian's story. But follow Ian, follow Calamity so you can stay up on video game tournaments. Number one, I mean, who doesn't want to stay up on that? But number two, what Ian does in his life. Well, like I said, that's it for this interview, guys. I know it's sad to see him go. Literally, he will get up and leave, but also from the episode. But I know we all can't wait to see what you do and where you go in your future and what else you master.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Okay, finally I get my couch back. Bye, little brother. Okay, so as usual, we will close out our show with a segment called Zooming In. Let's take a look at who's being magnified for being magnificent. The State of Black Learning Conference is definitely magnificent. SBL had their annual conference this week, and I must say, it was amazing. I got to go to the conference and hear from Dr. Eddie Glaude himself, plus amazing small groups and panels and speakers. Dr. Glaude is so inspirational, incredibly smart, very articulate, and overall an empowering vocalist and vocal activist as he speaks up on the most important issues our country faces, from racial justice to education, and even the two mixed together. One quote I heard at the conference from Dr. Glaude was to turn your rage into motivation. Not only does this apply to anyone and everyone who hears that, and anybody who's doing anything in their anything who's on earth, but it describes exactly how to be the change you want to see in the world. When you are enraged after witnessing the injustices in our society, turn that rage into motivation to change. Change our systems and change the world. Change who has the power to change how it is used. Be the change. The SPL has these fantastic conversations going every year to engage our community in the pressing issues in our educational system. SPL, thank you for the work that you do to bring attention to the ongoing racial issues our country faces, our schools face, our educators face, and our students face in our educational system. Thank you for doing this conference and talking about the issues nobody else is talking about. Your Zoom call to action, you may be wondering, after being so enraged and empowered? Get invested. Turn your rage into motivation. Raise awareness on social media, in your social circles, and in your communities. Open the eyes of those around you. Work on campaigns. Advocate for policies. Enter in organizations. Join or start a club at your school. Use your voice to protest, and definitely protest to the polls. Register to vote and vote. Your Zoom call to action is to turn your rage from the injustices of our industries and the injustices of our society into motivation to be the change you want to see. Any movement toward motivation to be that change is a success, from a social media post to running for office. And if you're not enraged, you need to ask yourself, what's wrong? A wise word from Dr. Glaude. Also, follow the State of Black Learning on social media and attend their conference next year. You will not want to miss it. Their conferences are always fantastic. I've been to several, and the most recent one was amazing. And that's a wrap. For episode 10 of Zooming In with Gen Z, it is officially closing. I'd say this episode was a 10 out of 10, just like the rest of the episodes. Thanks so much for joining us today. Please like, share, comment, follow, and subscribe for more. Plus, when you do that, it allows others to check out our conversations too. In 2 weeks, we will be back here at 2 p.m. Central Time with some important news and an important person or two. A little secret, actually, an easy way to remember is 2 twice. 2 weeks, 2 p.m. Central Time. We will be back. A shout out thanks to Citizen Ed for providing us with this platform to talk about the issues we care about. See you guys in 2 weeks. How do I zoom out on this thing?